it was kind of cool. Like, not only was he like having bad dreams, but like, imagine having bad dreams, and then you have to fucking deal with ghosts, and then you have to deal with becoming a werewolf on every full moon. Like, damn, like all that order is just fucked up. So that's probably what
Yeah. What's up with the dream with was it vampire Nazis?
Yeah.
Or zombie Nazis?
That was so fucking crazy. I totally forgot about that.
It was pretty brutal, dude. Pretty metal. Like
never explained.
I was like, that's some Lord of Chaos shit right there. I really love his friend, like the makeup that his friend was wearing at when they were after he had sex. He's like, "You look like Meatloaf."
Yeah.
And
I thought the puppet was great with the skull in the theater.
He's like, "Have you met Jane and Ben?"
Hi.
I think two of my favorite scenes and iconic moments: the build up to the attack when they go to the moors and they're kind of just backpacking. I thought I thought that was amazing because you get to obviously know your two main characters and their camaraderie and who they are as individuals. So that was very great when they go into the bar and that whole situation there. And then, of course, the transition scene that Chris already kind of touched on. I believe they play Bad Moon Rising during that scene, which is I'm a huge backer of Creedence Clearwater Revival. That scene, I would say, inspired because for anyone who knows me, I have a quarter sleeve of CCR on my right arm, and that scene has a lot to do with why I got it, because I always I feel like I relate that band to this movie and my love for it, you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. I was about to say I like how they I mean, they should always do this in werewolf movies, but I like how they took his hunger away, but they made it like more weirder. Like, oh, I'm not hungry. Like, I'm just not hungry. Like, they kept pushing that on because you know what he wants to eat, but he couldn't do it as a human, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But that was pretty cool, and they kind of work on that some more and more.
I wish they had more of a silver bullet aspect of it, but
yes,
I understand why they didn't, but at the same time, it's like that's the one thing I like about the werewolf thing.
Yeah, the mythos.
Yeah, it's like only kill him with a silver bullet, and then I thought that she was going to kill him when I first watched it because he's like, maybe someone can only kill him if they love him. Kind of like we was talking about watching the Wolfman.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, let's see if see if that happens. So
I feel like they lead into, and I don't want to spoil the sequel, which is a kind of a heavy retread of what this film is, just in '97.
And in France.
Yeah.
Or Paris.
Paris, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like the love story is a little heavier in that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is.
With Julie Depley, who's really great and underrated, actually. But what are your thoughts on the sequel, Chris? Besides that, it's obviously lackluster to this one.
I have good memories of the sequel because I saw it with my aunt when it came out. I don't even know what year it came out. I know I was young.
97.
Okay, so I was 10. I saw it with my aunt, and I loved what's the actor's name?
Scott Tom Everett.
Everett Tom Scott. No, I don't know. The guy from That Thing You Do. He was Guy from That Thing You Do, the drummer. Like that's what his name was. I love That Thing You Do. That's probably one of my favorite movie that Tom Hanks has directed. Like that movie is awesome. So he was in it. I was excited. I knew about the original one, so I was excited. It was weird because this aren't movies I normally get excited about. Even like when I was 10, that's not what that was all about. So when she took me to see this, what I took away from that movie, that one seems funnier to me.
Mm-hmm.
Julie Botwin. You know, we all know her from Modern Family. She's in it, and he kills her, so she kind of haunts him. And she's funny in it. She's great. Like, you don't really get to see. They took advantage of having that be a funny character, and more so than they did with just a friend being the funny one, and like lighthearted, not even funny. Like,
yeah,
so like
he ends up having a one night stand with her, and I think they're messing around on Jim Morrison's fucking grave,
yeah,
which is funny. And obviously he transitions because he's stubborn. He doesn't want to listen, and he kills the unfortunate the woman. But when she comes back to haunt him, she's hilarious. Like you don't get to, like you said. I think her character's kind of short-lived, but her screen time that we do get to see her when she's undead is awesome. Like, there's a scene where I think she she tries to whistle and she blows her eyeball out of the socket.
Yeah,
like, fun.
Like, they definitely did that part right. Like, they build off of that correctly. The CG, it's 97. I understand what they're trying to do, but that's something you don't have to forgive them for. To this day, I will not go into a place with no windows because of that movie. Or if anyone says, "Oh, we love Americans," yeah, they love to eat you. So that's why I don't do that either. But like, I still watch that prime time when that's on TV, so I don't hate it. But it's all right. Like, it's kind of cool. Like, it's the mythos that they carried, really. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a sequel, but it's just the mythos, which I like. You got the ghosts, you got these foreigners in a different country. Like, think about it. Waking up in a different place hospital has to be terrifying.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going on. Like, you have no idea.
And you know what? English people love waking up, like, people that are just waking up. You notice that in their movies? Like, they're just right next...
Because 28 days? You know? Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. But it's just the like I said, that I like the sequel. It's not good, but I like it. I like that not all his friends died. You know, they had that one guy who was trying to figure things out too.
Yeah.
They kind of actually went almost like little underworld-ish with the wolves wanting to be able to turn on demand.
Oh yeah, like precursor to Underworlds.
Yeah, so it's like they had good notions or ideas, maybe not executed correctly. And plus, in the first one, we only had one wolf. That person died, and then we saw our lead become the wolf. This one, there was like 20 fucking wolves. So they went the aliens route.
The
aliens.
The more
everywhere.
The more the scarier. Yeah. It was like basically what, like, they owned a nightclub and they were basically trying to corral
it was like underground clubs. You have to get a flyer to go. Yeah. And there's no fucking windows and they lock you in. So yeah. No, I liked it. I liked the sequel. It's just, it's not as good or groundbreaking as the first, but they definitely had some good swings at the plate, I guess you would say, with how they took, like, the dead girl, the idea of the humor, the friends being around, both dead and living. So I liked it. And it's in Paris, so it's always kind of neat. Again, somewhere else. Now, they should do an English Werewolf in America. That should be the third one.
The trifecta.
He's running on the wrong side. He's running on the wrong side of the road. You know, shit like that.
Transitioning back into London, what was your overall rating for this film?
This is like a 9. It's an A.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, it's a 9.
I would agree with you on that.
Again, but, like, you really have to take out the fact that it's from 81.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 9. It's definitely a 9 for 81, and I think.
I know people that if it's even in the 90s, they're like, "Oh, that's too old." I'm like, you don't know. Like, you shut up. I just get tired of hearing people like that.
They watch Paranormal Activity and they're like, I know everything. Imagine that.
But I think
it's just like,
I think if for my humble opinion, a lot of people that don't understand cinema or have never worked on a project or are not cinephobes like us don't understand how beautiful of a pearl this movie is, because they will never understand how much work and, you know, like, if there's something I could take away, is the transformation scene was just so beautifully done. And I know we've said it so many times, but it's just like, it baffles me sometimes, not a bad word for a Mexican, how wonderful like those scenes are. I mean, like, back in the early 80s, like, we didn't have that many computers to mess around with where we could do some stuff like that, you know, besides like claymation and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there's virtually no computers were used in this whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's super nuts to think like, oh, they really came off. It really comes off. Even to this day, it's still the best thing in the world, you know? And I think that a lot of people don't see the comedy in this as also, like, the comedy aspect of this is not just a horror film, it's a comedy horror film, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, him calling his friend, like, you look like Meatloaf. I started cracking up, and so did my nephews. And it's just like, it's an understanding of, like, you gotta sometimes suspend yourself from belief.
Yeah. Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. Boom.
Couldn't agree more. But it's also
I think it hits music timed right too. Like at certain points, that's what also probably rolls it along very well. Some parts were just backpacking or long sequences of seeing a scenery, but the music hit nice.
If there's something I miss from, like, I want to say that 80s type of music, and even close to some 70s, is the original music that musicians used to make for movies and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
like that actually go along with movies. Mm-hmm. Not something that, like, it's a hit and it's in American Pie.
Oh, like
kids.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying?
Like a Kiss from a Rose. You know, Batman Forever.
Yeah, like those like that. Like, I love, like, this is probably not one, like, like the soundtrack and stuff, but, like, what I get what an artist is saying, it's like it plays a role in this movie, you know? Like Bad Moon, like, you know, there was gonna be a full moon that night. That's why they played that song, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like Blue Moon, like, you know, they play at the end, and it's like so amazing. You wouldn't think, like, you know what, you should play Blue Moon at the end. I think it would be funny. And it's so it fits perfectly. Like, he really did a proper job with that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's not it was subtle.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they weren't beating you over the head with it.
Yeah. It's just straightforward. It's just like, you know, we know where we are, and you know where we stand, like it or not. Here it is. Did you give a rating already, Wesley?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think it's a heavy 9. Near perfect for the time it came out, for what they were trying to execute. The staying power, the longevity of this is undeniable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be around for a long time,
right?
You got Swan facts?
I do have some Swan facts.
Sweet, hit them up.
Swan facts.
All right, a remake has been in motion since 2009 by John Landis' son, Max Landis. In 2017, he was quoted saying a first draft was actually completed after a slew of allegations against Max Landis and his mistreatment of women, it is unclear whether that's going to be pushed forward or it's on indefinite hiatus, or if he will be replaced.
Wow.
Max, I believe he is a screenplay writer.
Yeah.
I think he did More recently, he did was that Jesse Eisenberg film with Kristen Stewart. What the fuck is it called?